thank you for joining us. This week we saw yet another heartbreaking and infuriating story on the death of a child in a foster home under the supervision of the State Department of Children and Families. Well, here to talk about this chronic problem and what to do about it is our guest, Massachusetts State Auditor Suzanne Bump. Madam Auditor, welcome.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Is Suzanne okay?
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I always ask first. Suzanne, in a Boston Globe op-ed piece recently, you wrote, quote, "I've seen time and again that larger systemic issues prevent state agencies from delivering consistent and reliable services. Failing to create an environment in which agencies work together results in disjointed, ineffective services and creates an atmosphere where single mistakes compound and so on, often with tragic results." This was in relation to DCF, but you're saying this is across state government.
I have indeed seen it in numerous instances where agencies really, in order to fulfill their mandate, need to be working in close collaboration, and they fail to do so.
Why?
It's, I think part of it is leadership. It really has to be an imperative that comes down from the top. People have to understand in government that they really, although they have an obligation to stay true to the mission of the agency, that they are part of something larger, and that something larger can very often, and particularly in the case of DCF, have resources that should be called upon, and those other agencies with those resources have to be willing to share.
You wrote in your piece that social workers in DCF feel they have better working relationships with government entities outside the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, schools, courts, and law enforcement than they do with their sister agencies. How can that be?
Isn't that terrible? Then that's not my observation. That is coming from a survey that was released by the Office of the Child Advocate just a month or so ago before she stepped down. Retired Judge Judy Garringer released a report that the legislature asked her to do, and she surveyed DCF social workers, and that's what they said. All of those agencies that should have resources to bring to bear for the families that present themselves and their problems to DCF, poverty, lack of education, mental health issues, substance abuse issues, the list goes on. All of those agencies should be willing partners with DCF to heal these troubled families and protect these children. And they just aren't making those connections.
Well, you said this starts with leadership. And a lot of the problems we've been seeing, improper screening of foster homes, failure to understand the backgrounds of a biological parent before moving a child in there, that kind of thing. You came out with a fairly scathing audit about this in 2014. I mean, this is now the Baker administration's problem, but what did or didn't the Patrick administration do to fix this?
Well, our audit came out, and it was looking just at the foster care program. It came out around the same time that the Child Welfare League of America issued its report to Governor Patrick, and our findings were very similar, that there were inadequate staff with lacking appropriate training, there were outdated policies and procedures, not enough managers, and poor technology to allow them to share information in a productive and efficient manner. There were efforts that were made to implement some of those recommendations, but obviously they haven't gotten very far.
Well, none of this comes as a surprise. I still don't get it. I mean, you were in the legislature, you were a committee chair, now you hold statewide office. I mean, what are the politics of this?
Well, if you go back to my time in the legislature, when you too were a rookie on Beacon Hill, you will remember that going back into the 80s, we had social workers who were protesting in front of the State House saying, we need to reduce these caseloads. It's too much work for us to handle. We can't keep these kids safe. That has been a recurring theme. We have to get honest about what it takes to fix these families and protect these kids. I think that the legislature and the governor are realizing that now.
All right, we have to take a break, but we'll continue our conversation and move on to some other interesting Beacon Hill topics with our guest, State Auditor Suzanne Bump, in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking with State Auditor Suzanne Bump. And Suzanne, Jim O'Sullivan, the outstanding political writer for the Globe, had an interesting piece in Friday's paper about what appears to be something of a love fest not just between the public and Governor Baker, his approval ratings are off the charts, but between the Democratic Party and the governor. Senator Markey has praised him, the Speaker, the Senate President. Are you part of this love fest?
Well, I do have to give him credit for appointing Mary Lou Sutters to be his Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Which oversees DCF.
Exactly, back on that DCF issue, because she started in the trenches, and he has confidence in her, and I think that she has, and he's giving her now the leeway to rebuild that agency, so I think that's good. I have received cooperation with them thus far on gaining access to information for us to do our audits. But there are things that he's done that I disagree with. I think that the early retirement incentive plan was not a good thing for many agencies, frankly, including DCF. They lost a ton of managers at a time when they could ill afford to lose that institutional knowledge. And although they can hire back to fill those spots, it still is, it just adds to the confusion there. And I disagree with his approach to privatization.
Well, now, I wanted to ask you about that. The MBTA reform initiatives that were passed allow them to go forward with much more privatization of the T than they had previously been.
Right.
Does that still have to be approved by you, or does that bypass you now?
Well, it bypasses me, so that it relieves the administration of making the business case for privatizing any aspect of the MBTA. The law is there to make sure that we are going to get a good result, that it's not going to cost us in the end more money if we privatize, because that has been a result very often of privatization, because taxpayers are still on the hook, and we've got to remember that. So I disagree with that, and I think that we're going to see more of those efforts.
Well, just a wild guess, you'll be taking a look at how that all comes out in the wash, right?
I will, and we are waiting for him to come forward with a plan to privatize emergency mental health services in southeastern Massachusetts and the Cape and the Islands. It does a very tricky things to try to handle how effectively to deliver mental health services, and believe me, I'm not prejudging, but that's going to take a lot of analysis to make sure that we aren't going to leave people alone when they're in a mental health crisis.
Well, I'm interested in following up on both those subjects, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Terrific.
Find out what you're observing. Thank you.
Thank you.
State Auditor Suzanne Bump. That's it for us for this morning. But now I return you to my colleagues for more WBZ News.